Welcome to the 1997 Sprint World Cup Speed Skating Championships at the Pettit National Ice Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm Andy Gable, and with me today is 1994 Olympic gold medalist Dan Jansen. Dan, we're in for some exciting racing today.
Andy, we really are. It's going to be a great competition. The first time the Americans get to compete at home for an international competition this year. On the men's side, the Americans show a strong up-and-comer, Casey Fitz-Randolph. 2 first-place finishes last week in Calgary, one of those being an American record in the 1,000 meters. On the women's side, Chris Whitty, the 1996 World Sprint Champion, and also Becky Sundstrom, 2 fourth-place finishes last week in Calgary.
And let's not forget Franziska Schenk from Germany, currently leading both the 500 and the 1,000 meter in the World Cup standings.
And on the men's side, I think the man to watch, Hiroyasu Shimizu from Japan, the world record holder in the 500 meters, along with a lot of other Olympic medalists here this weekend.
So we're in for some exciting racing. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Here at the Pettit National Ice Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And in the first pair from Canada, Susan Auk, and from Japan, Tomomi Shimizu.
It should be a good first pair, Andy. Susan Auk was a silver medalist in Lillehammer in 1994 in this event.
After the retirement of Bonnie Blair, Susan Auk looked to be the person who could be able to dominate the 500 meter. Didn't quite happen.
She did. It never really came about.
And here they go off the start. It's Auk on the inner, Shimizu on the outside. Look for a fast 100 meter from Susan Auk from Canada.
10.8 is not a bad 100 for Susan. She can do a little better, but that's a good start. Not a bad inner she's got going. She didn't have a great acceleration out of the turn. She usually tires a little bit at the end of this race. We'll see how she does today.
And as they fly down the backstretch, Susan Auk going to the outer lane, Shimizu going into the inner lane. And as they're pumping, coming out of the turn, it looks like Auk has a slight lead. What are they trying to do right now, Dan?
Well, Susan is really trying to hang on. She looks a little bit tired. Shimizu is finishing much stronger, and I believe she did beat her. Oh, it's a dead heat.
A dead heat at 40.81 for both those skaters. Something that very rarely happens is the same time in speed skating. Now, who gets the first or second place finish?
It becomes an exact tie. They do not go to the thousandths of a second. It just goes to the 100th, and they will tie.
In this next race, Oksana Ravalova from Russia and hometown favorite Chris Whitty from West Allis, Wisconsin.
Andy, Chris is the current world sprint champion. This is not her strongest distance. In fact, Ravalova is also stronger in the 1,000 meters. This would be a great pair in the 1,000. 500, I don't expect either of these skaters to win the race. However, they should be up there in the standings.
Chris is currently 9th overall, while Ravalova is 8th overall. And a false start for Chris Whitty. Maybe some nerves in front of the home crowd?
Maybe a little bit of nerves. I really don't like to see that out of Chris. When you're here, you really need to concentrate. Just wait for the gun and go. You don't want to anticipate too much. You'll get yourself in trouble. Right now, she's got to sit there and really wait for the gun on this start.
And like you said, Chris is the current world champion. A veteran, you would say. A little bit of maybe a mistake a veteran shouldn't be making.
I agree. It happens every so often, but at this level, at this time of the year, she really shouldn't be false starting.
Now, Chris tends to not go as fast down the first 100 meters, but from what I understand, really can come on strong towards the end of a race.
Very much so. Chris has a relatively slow opening 100 meters compared to the other girls. However, she skates a great turn, picks up a lot of speed in the last lap.
And as the gun goes off, it looks like she got off to a good start. Hopefully that false start didn't cost her any crucial time. And as the fans go wild here, they come across 100 meters. A 10.96 for Chris Whitty, a good opener.
Under 11 is good for Chris, especially with a false start leading into it. Now you see she will try to get a draft here off of Ravalova. It looks like she is slightly ahead. She should pull ahead after the final turn.
And Chris had the benefit of learning from yourself and Bonnie Blair when she was growing up. I'm sure that has to help her.
Oh, it helps. It's a tremendous deal when you're following somebody like Bonnie Blair. You can hear the home crowd, also a big advantage as Chris pulls down the last 100 meters.
And as they come across the finish, a 40.09 for Chris Whitty, moving her into first place.
I'll tell you what, that's a solid race for Chris right there. Almost breaking 40 seconds here in Milwaukee. I'm sure that's her best time she skated on this track.
She should be happy with that time. Hopefully that could hold up. We're not too sure. There still are some very fast skaters to come. Ruan Zhu from China, currently 3rd overall. Svetlana Zarova from Russia, currently 4th overall in the 500-meter standings in the World Cup right
Andy,
now.
watch Zarova get down the 100. She should have the fastest 100 meters of the day. I look for it to be around 10.3 or 10.4. Somewhere under 10.5 if she has a normal one. She skates a very fast 100 meters. Once she gets to the turn, she has a little bit of trouble. But watch her get down this 100.
Which would right away give her a 2 to 3/10 second difference over the other competitors, which is huge in a sport like this.
And you can see the difference it makes because you only have 1 lap to make that up. 0.2 of a second doesn't sound like much, but in a 500 meters, it's an incredible amount of time.
Now again, we're seeing a couple false starts. Is that because of nerves, or is that they're just trying to get every advantage they can?
A little bit of both, but more so they need to get that advantage. The 500 meters is the shortest distance. You need to get off the line in order to have a good race.
And as they come to the start, and the gun goes, and it looks like we got a good start. Zarova may have been caught at the line just a little bit because of the false start, but they are going down the 100 quick here, Dan. And as they come across 100, 10.5 for Zarova, 10.6 for Wang.
10.5 is solid for her. I thought she'd be a little quicker at this point, but it's not a bad start.
And as she chases Zhu down the backstretch, is that an advantage to be chasing, or do you want to be in front?
I think for the women, it's an advantage to be chasing because they don't have the top speed going into this final turn. It's not as hard for them to hold this last turn.
And again,
Zarova's not going to catch Zhu. It looks like Zhu's going to hold her off here.
And as they come across the finish line, it is Zhu with a time of 39.77, excuse me, our first lady under 40 seconds. Moves her into first place. Surinova, 40.09, moves her into second place.
And a great race for both these ladies. Zhu with a surprising 39.7, a very solid race, especially here in Milwaukee. I'm not sure what her time was last week in Calgary, but I'm sure it wasn't much faster than that.
An excellent race. For a woman to go under 40 seconds here in Milwaukee is an excellent, excellent race that needs to be mentioned.
We have the 2 fastest skaters on Earth.
And as Franziska Schenk comes to the line on the inside lane from Germany, currently number 1 overall in this race and the 1,000 meter. Tomomi Akazaki from Japan, currently 2nd overall. This is the race of the day in the 500 meters.
It should be, Andy. And Franziska Schenk, as you said, leads the overall World Cup standings. She also won a bronze medal in Lillehammer and has improved each year since.
And it looks like we have a great start, Dan. Are they trying to move their legs as fast as they can, or are they just trying to stroke to get down the 100?
Right now, it's a combination of both of those. You need a lot of leg speed, but you also need the power.
And they come down to 10.77, slightly behind Zhu from China.
But that's not unusual because Zhu and Zarova both have fast 100 meters. We'll see what happens in the last 300 here.
They look like they're pretty close going into the final turn.
Okazaki looks like she's skating a solid race. She's coming after on the last turn. I think the last 100 you're going to see Schenk hold her off, though.
And here they come, 50 meters to go. They're striving, they're pushing. Schenk crosses the line, 39.90, second place. Zhu holds her off. What a race.
A very good race, I think, for both these skaters. I'm not sure that Okazaki will be satisfied with the 40.1. And I'm not sure Schenk will be satisfied simply by finishing second place, but she should be. She skated a solid race.
That concludes the ladies' 500 meters. Stay tuned for the men's 500 meter event coming up next. Sprint Speed Skating Championships here at the Pettit National Ice Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Coming up next, the men's 500 meter competition. Grunde Njos from Norway, currently 9th overall. Hiroaki Yamakaji from Japan.
Njos is another strong skater from Norway. He had a great year in 1994 and last year. We'll see what he's doing this year. I think he's had a little more trouble this year. Personal best 36.37.
And the Japanese notoriously get off the line in a serious hurry. They can get down that 100 and really, really put the pressure on these skaters. But off to a slow start today.
Njos is a big, strong power sprinter.
And Njos 9.83 down the 100, our fastest time of the day for the 100 meter. Now look for him to power down that backstretch, Dan. What's he thinking right now?
Well, that's a good solid 100 meters for him, and he skates a pretty good lap. So now he's just thinking, keep accelerating because this last outer is on the turn that you want on your last turn, and power it down to 100. Hold your technique together.
And as he finishes the race, last 50 meters, looks like he's on a good time, Dan, a 36.62, first place. Excellent skating.
That's a good race for Njos. He should be very satisfied with that race. I didn't see too many mistakes at all.
Yamakaji from Japan, 37-21, and currently in 7th place. I don't think a very good race for him, Dan.
That wasn't a very good race. He should be under 37 seconds easily, and the 500 is his strong point by far, so we're not looking for too much for him from the 1,000 today.
And in this next pair of the race, people in Milwaukee are looking forward to Casey Fitz-Randolph from Madison, Wisconsin on the inner lane. Currently 7th overall. You can hear the crowd cheering. And Yoon-Man Kim from Korea, an excellent skater, currently 8th overall in the outer lane. Dan,
this is going to be a great pair. Casey, our up-and-comer, the 1,000 meters, again, his better distance. You're going to see Yoon-Man Kim open up pretty hard in this 100. He should be ahead of Casey after 100 meters, but Casey skates very strong technically. He'll come back on him a little bit.
And Yoon-Man Kim, the 1995 World Sprint Champion who skates incredibly aggressive. Watch him go. And we've got a good start.
Casey got off the line very well. We'll see what he can do. If he can hold with Kim here on the 100, he has a chance to beat him. Looks like he might be ahead of him at the 100.
9.89 for Kim, 9.9 for Fitz. A good opener, but this is where Fitz can really go with that technique, Dan.
Very much so. We'll see. He's got to accelerate here going into the last turn. If he can accelerate in, he's going to carry a lot of speed out of this turn, and he's going to win this pair.
And it looks like he's got a slight lead over Kim. It's going to be close. And as they come down the 100,
Casey's going to hold him off here. He's got a strong finish. He should be in first.
And a 36.64, second place for Casey Fitz-Randolph, but a very good race. 36.80 for Yoon-Man Kim. A very good pair for both of them.
You know, that's a good race for Casey. He skated 36.7 here at the National Championships. That is his fastest time he's skated here in Milwaukee.
He should be happy with that race. You always want to win if you can, but at the same time, he skated a good technical race. This sets him up very well for the 1,000, don't you think?
I think it very much so. He knows how the ice is now. I talked to him before the race. He said the ice was good, so he's going to be very much looking forward to the 1,000 meters.
He did mention also that the ice all week wasn't feeling as fast as he'd like, but he was very excited to race today. And as you can hear, he comes down the home stretch. Definitely a favorite skater here in Milwaukee. Maybe the heir apparent to you, Dan.
Well, he's certainly the next sprinter, and we're looking for big things from him next year in Nagano. I think if he keeps it up, he's got a good shot for a medal next year.
And also one of the most likable skaters on the ice. And as we get to the start for the final pair, Hori on the inside, Yegal on the outside. We have a slight movement from Yegal on the outside from Korea. False start, Dan. What's that mean?
Well, again, you got it. Now Yegal's really got to sit there. He's got to wait for the gun. He cannot try to anticipate. It's going to cost him, you never know how much, but at least, or up to possibly a full 1/10 of a second.
And for the overall standings, he certainly cannot afford to double fault start here and be disqualified and receive no points. That would be crucial.
It really is. You got it. Now he's got to sit and wait for the gun. I look for these guys to open up in about 9.7, 9.8. And from there, Hori skates a very good lap. He should win this race.
And we have a good start. It didn't look like Yegal had to hesitate a little bit, but look at him go down that 100, Dan.
He's got very quick leg speed. He almost runs a little too much. He needs to really start skating now instead of that quick, choppy skating.
And 9.76 for Yegal, the fastest 100-meter of the day.
Very good.
And he's chasing down that backstretch. Is that an advantage for him?
It is an advantage for him. We'll see what happens. I think Hori will hold him off. He skates a good outer lap, outer turn. He should power it down to 100. Yegal's pushing him tight, but I think Hori's going to hold him off.
As they come down the final 100 meters, it's Hori on the outside, Yegal on the inside. 36.79 from Hori. That means a silver medal for United States as Casey Fitz-Randolph in the 500 meter. And in a surprise finish, gold medalist Grunde Njos from Norway at 36.62. And in third place with the bronze medal, Manabu Hori, 36.71. Boy, these skaters are close today, Dan.
They really are, and you see both Fitz-Randolph and Hori, both great 500s, 1000s, very strong as well.
And here we have the medal ceremonies for the women's 500 meter. Ruang Zhu from China, winning the gold medal at 39.77. Franziska Schenk, the current overall leader in the 500 meters, in second place with a 39.9. And in third place, from West Dallas, Wisconsin, Chris Whitty.
And what a thrill for Chris. In front of the home crowd, it's an honor. She gets to be presented a medal by Bonnie Blair as well. Should be a thrill, and more to come for the 1,000 meters.
And Chris also tied with Svetlana Zarova from Russia at the same time, 40.09. Coming up next, ladies 1,000 meter event. Okay, and in the first pair, 1,000 meter lady, Group 1, Michelle Morton from Canada and Sandra Zoll from Netherlands. This race, Dan, is 2.5 laps. A little bit different than the 500 meter. Explain these differences for us.
Well, the 1,000 meters is a sprint, considered a sprint, but it's a very controlled sprint. You really have to pace yourself over the first 600 meters, the first lap and a half. Really get out to a hard start in the first 200, then relax for a lap until the final lap.
And as you can see him coming around, with 2 laps to go, they put one arm on the back, and why is that?
Well, you put one arm up really to conserve energy. It helps you relax a little bit more. It's much easier to conserve energy while you're not swinging 2 arms. You're swinging 2 arms, you're just expending that much more energy.
And as they go down the back stretch, coming around, 1.5 laps to go. And now is when the skaters start to get tired, start feeling the lactic acid building up in their legs. What do you do from here?
From here, you really have to concentrate. You hope that you have a solid summer and fall of training, because this last lap is very difficult to hold your technique together. She'll get around this turn okay, and then you really start to feel it with about 250 meters to go.
Michelle Morton coming across the 600 meters at 49.61, 400 meters to go. She's coming onto the inner lane. Sandra as well, looks like she's coming on strong going into the outside.
And that's typical of a Dutch skater. They will finish stronger in the last lap than most. For one reason or another, the Dutch are more, I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
And as they come around to the end, a 122.26 for Sandra Zoll and 122.81 for Michelle Morton.
A decent race, I think, for Zwolle, but not her best. She had a little difficulties in some of the turns. Michelle Morton skated a pretty solid race.
And coming to the line, United States, is Rebecca Sundstrom. And Russia's Oksana Ravalova. Becky currently is 4th overall. Ravalova 5th overall. A very, very good pair. Becky's got someone to chase at the start of this race, Dan.
Becky does have someone to chase. This is a good pair for her. And she's also going to have somebody to chase on the last half lap of this race, which is very crucial.
And Becky, who's a good technical skater, seems to be able to handle those tight turns very well towards the end of a race.
And this should be a great pair, because Becky, this is a stronger race for Becky and also for Ravalova, her strongest event, the 1,000.
You can see your skating partner, program director Nick Tomitz, yelling to her on the backstretch, giving her encouragement. And you can hear the crowd roaring for Becky Sundstrom. Comes across the 200 meter, 19:03, about 0.7 of a second slower than the leaders, but Becky gets stronger as she goes.
She does get stronger, and she had a good inner turn there. She set it up nicely, and she really accelerated coming out of the turn, set her up well for the backstretch. Now, going into this outer turn here is where she really needs to get a lot out of it, propel her down this last straightaway and on into her last lap.
Becky has a very easy, fluid skating style. She looks like she's almost relaxed and just going along, coming across 600 meters at 48.9. About a second off the pace, Dan. She's really going to have to work here.
Well, watch the advantage Becky's going to have here in the backstretch. She will be right on her pair. She's going to draft here just like an automobile race car. She can get caught in the draft and literally get sucked right up to her pair and on into the last turn.
And as she enters the last turn, she has caught her pair and is passing her by at a fast rate. Here comes Becky Sundstrom coming out of the final turn. As she's reaching, the crowd is going crazy here for the hometown American girl. Comes across at 120.8, moving her into 2nd place.
A very solid race there for Becky. I think she should be happy. She skated a good technical race. She's in 2nd place at the moment with just 1 pair left. So she's got a good chance for a medal in this race.
She was over a second down with 1 lap to go and only 2nd place by less than a second. So she really gained a lot in that last lap.
She really did. It shows you the strength of Becky's last lap. She is a strong performer in the 1,000, in the 1,500 meters.
And in the next pair, from the United States of America, Mora D'Andrea, and from Russia, Elena Koroleva. Mora is currently coming off a good 500. She's been skating well lately. 1,000 meter, a little better race for Mora.
The 1,000 is a better race for Mora. And as we said before, Mora is coming off a bad car accident this summer. So she had a lot of time off, a lot of time to heal up. She was hit by a car while training on her bicycle. Took her a lot of time to get ready. She skated very easily in the fall training sessions. Really has skated herself into shape this year, but has really come on strong in the past 3 weeks.
Currently 16th overall in the World Cup standings in the 1,000 meter, a little better than in the 500, and Koroleva 17th overall. A good start for both of them. Is it as important to get to a fast start in the 1,000 as it is in the 500?
And it's not as crucial to start as fast in the 1,000, especially in the women's events. But for the men, it is still crucial. Mora really needs to get it going here, accelerate out of this first turn, and then start relaxing.
And here we see as they come around the second turn, the coaches are yelling. I would think the coaches are a little more crucial in a race like this.
Very much so. You really have to be aware of your pace. You have to know it's such a controlled sprint. If you go out too hard, you can really pay for it in the last lap. So you have to, the best feeling is when you come around and see your split time, it's a fast time and you still have a lot left for the last half lap.
49.5 is the fastest 600-meter split so far. Mora looks like she has a commanding lead over Koroleva.
And you're going to see Mora, it might be trouble on the crossover here. It looks like Mora's going to beat her to the crossover. If there was trouble there, the girl coming from the inner lane has to stand up and let the girl from the outer lane pass freely.
And if she doesn't stand up, would that be a disqualification?
It is. If she impedes the progress of the other skater, she will be disqualified.
Mora DeAndrea coming to the finish. Looks like she has a strong race going. 122.85.
121, and it's not a bad race for Mora. It's a solid race here in Milwaukee. That's one of the best races I've seen her skate here.
I apologize. 121.85 for Mora DeAndrea. A very good race. That should move her up in the standings in the overall World Cup.
Mora really held her technique together well in the last lap. I think she should be pleased with that race.
And in the final pair, world sprint champion from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chris Whitty, and Shimo Kusunosu from Japan.
This also should be a very good pair. Chris Whitty, as you said, world champion, world sprint champion last year. She started a little slower this year than she was last year. However, she's come on strong. She was sick at the U.S. Championships 2 weeks ago. She's getting better every day. She had a good week last week in Calgary. Let's see her perform well here today.
Whitty, a very strong, powerful skater with excellent technique. Again, benefiting from skating with Bonnie Blair and yourself, Dan. She really took that to heart and learned a lot about skating. She's maturing as she gets older, and she really needs to get out on this 200 meter to have a chance to win this race.
She really does. Chris's weakest point is right here, this first 200 meters of this race. After this, if she has a solid 200, she can win this race.
1875 is an excellent split time for Chris Whitty. If she can be close in the beginning, we know she can be there at the end.
And if you watch Chris skate a turn, she's technically as good as any woman out there on the turns, which is what makes her go.
As Whitty goes down the backstretch, this long, powerful stroke, setting up the last turn. She's pulling away from Kusunosu. It's a one-person race as she comes out of the turn with one to go.
Chris should easily win this pair. Her last lap is very strong. We're going to have to see if there's trouble on the crossover here after this turn.
48.32 for Chris. She's closing in on first place.
We got troubles here. We got troubles. Oh, no, it's going to go clear. She didn't even have to stand up. Chris now really gets the draft off her. This is going to give her a big advantage. She could win this race.
A nice draft. Now she needs a sixth stroke and come out of this turn the best she can, as she's doing right now. She sees the finish line in sight. Chris Whitty.
Last 50 meters. She's really got to stay down and push it all the way through the finish line.
And Chris Whitty at a time of 120.19. First place. Moves into gold medal.
A wonderful race for Chris Whitty. Solid all the way around. She opened up hard for her. Really held it together again in the last lap.
What a fantastic finish for Chris Whitty. A little tired at the end of the race, Dan, but she held on and kept her composure.
She really did. And what a thrill to win that on home ice right here in the United States.
Great race for Chris Whitty and a great showing for the Americans. Unofficially, Chris Whitty with the gold medal and Becky Sundstrom with a bronze medal.
Terrific finish. Chris and Becky both deserve to be up on the podium. And again, to do that at home in front of a home crowd, it means so much more than doing it while you're overseas.
And as she skates down the home stretch, Chris Whitty hears it from the hometown crowd. A definite gold medal possibility for Chris Whitty for the next upcoming Olympics. .
Great appreciation from the crowd. It is a thrill to win in front of your home. And as you said, it gives you a lot of confidence just thinking about next year and the Olympics in Nagano.
And it is official. Chris Weedy with the gold medal at 120.19. And Becky Sundstrom from the United States at 120.8. A gold and a bronze medal, Dan. That says a lot about this program.
It says a lot. They've done a nice job with our women, especially over the last couple of years. They've really gotten stronger in the middle distances. And they should be very satisfied. We'll see what happens again tomorrow.
Stay tuned. Coming up, the men's 1,000-meter finals. Our 400-meter facility in the country, and is an official United States Olympic training facility and home to the U.S. long track speed skating team. Pettit National Ice Center will be the site of the 1998 U.S. Olympic trials, as well as the 1998 World Cup finals. Yasunori Miyabi, currently 6th overall in the World Cup, and Jan Bos from Netherlands, 20th overall, currently in the World Cup standings. This should be interesting to see Miyabi really chase Bos at the start.
It will be interesting. He tends to open up a little bit slower in his first 200 for a sprinter. He'll probably open up in about 17.3 or so, 17.2 maybe. He had a little trip there at the beginning. That's going to cost him a little trying to build speed into the first turn.
Almost looked like he got a little forward on his skates, and that could really hurt him in the long run for building his speed. As they come out of the first turn and across the line at 200, it looks like Bos has a slight lead at 17.17, the fastest opener so far today.
Not a bad opener for Bos. I'm not sure what he holds in his last lap, although being from Holland, I would bet his last lap is fairly strong.
And Jan Bos, trained by Peter Mueller, your coach, Dan, a sprinting technician, really trying to bring these Dutch sprinters up to level with the all-rounders.
Very much, and Peter's worked a lot this year with the technique of the Dutch. They tend to have some trouble with their turns. They actually tend to fall more than most of the skaters I've seen, but he looks very strong at this point.
And Bos skating well. Miyabi looks like he's just mailing this one in, Dan. Doesn't even look like he's in the race.
Miyabi tends to do that every so often. He bags his 1,000 meters sometimes, saves it for the next day, and I never understand why he does it.
And here comes Bos, tiring, but coming out of the last turn, dropping 2 arms, reaching for that finish line in a time of 1:13.24, moving him into first place by over a half a second.
Terrific race for Jan Bos right there. Very surprising. A super last lap. First place by quite a bit there, Andy.
That's going to be a very difficult time to beat. He should be competitive with that time, Dan.
He should be definitely competitive. I think that stands a good chance for a medal.
Manabu Hori, ranked #1 in the World Cup standings from Japan. And Madison's own Casey Fitz-Randolph, currently #7.
This should be a wonderful pair here. Casey Fitz is really psyched up. He's skating in front of the home crowd. He had a great 500 meters, almost won it. Skating against Hori. Casey won both these thousands at the World Cup in Calgary last week. I look for him to win this race today.
And speaking to Casey earlier, saying he prefers the first outer lane. He says that tends to make him skate a little better, a little bit more relaxed, and he has that here today.
I always preferred the first outer lane as well. And I understand what Casey means.
Casey drawing a great pair. And we got a clean start.
Casey's had a little bit of trouble getting his first 200 meters down as well, but you should see him around 17.1, maybe 17.2 today. If that's the case, he still has a good chance to win this race.
And Hori from Japan slightly ahead of Fitz-Randolph, but that's a good thing for Fitz-Randolph. He can chase it. 16.94 for Hori, 17.07 for Fitz-Randolph.
That's a great opener for Casey, and that puts him right on pace. Now watch him. He's going to accelerate and really relax on this backstretch, get a lot out of this inner turn up here.
He really sits nice. It almost looks like it's easy for him, and is that the key?
That is the key. If you can be working and relaxing at the same time is the key. And a great pair coming up on 600. Hori's got him by a couple tenths, but I think Casey's got a stronger last lap.
And as the crowd goes crazy, Casey entering the second to the last turn. He's going to have to really stroke here. Hori's going to chase him down, but this is where Casey's strong.
He does. Horry's got the advantage here, being able to use him on the backstretch, and he looks strong. We'll see how the last turn goes.
Horry, a great backstretch. Looks like he's going to catch Fitz-Randolph and go by him, but Fitz-Randolph skating strong. And as they come down the last 10 meters to go, it is Horry at 1:12.99, a spectacular race.
A great race for Horry, and not a bad race for Fitz either. Third place. He should be satisfied. I think tomorrow he will win the race. If he had last inner today, I think you would have seen just the opposite, Andy.
Fitz-Randolph 113.33, a very good race. Casey tends to skate better the second day. And as you just said, we expect great things from him tomorrow.
I think that's right. He shouldn't be too disappointed. He won both last weekend. A third place is not a bad finish. He won 2 medals today. That's solid skating.
How about a 1:12.99 for Horry? Anytime you're under 13 here in Milwaukee, that is exceptional.
I tell you, under 13 anywhere is a great race, and to do it here today is a very impressive race.
And the final standings for the men's 1,000 meter is Manabu Horry with a time of 1:12.99. Jan Bos from Netherlands, a time of 1:13.24. And Casey Fitz-Randolph from the United States, 1:13.38. And as you can hear, the hometown cheering on Casey Fitz-Randolph. The gold medal again, Dan, going to Ruan Zhu of China in a time of 39.48. And in second place from Germany in a time of 40.02, Franziska Schenk, one of the top skaters in the world. And rounding out the medals in the women's 500 meters, Svetlana Zarova from Russia at a time of 40.18.
And Andy, there is no fluke here. These are the 3 best women in the world in the 500 meters at this time.
American Chris Whitty, a 7th place finish, a time of 40.45, tops out the American results in this 500 meter event. The men's 500 meter medalist and taking the gold medal is Sergei Klevchenya in a time of 36.49. And taking the silver medal in this race in a time of 36.52, Manabu Horry, showing that the Japanese are an incredibly strong sprint team. And for the bronze medal from Japan by only 1/100th of a second, 36.53, Hirasu Shimizu.
And I know he's had some neck problems this week. He does not like to get beat. You're going to see him bounce back in a few weeks at the World Championships. Still the favorite for the 500 meters.
And America's Casey Fitz-Randolph in a time of 36.58 takes the 4th place finish in this event. These skaters will be the ones to watch in Nagano in 1998. And now we shift to the women's 1,000 meter day 2. In lane 1 from Holland, Sandra Zvole, currently 19th overall in the World Cup. And from Japan, Aki Tonoiki. 1,000 meter, a different race, Dan.
Very different race, Andy. They got to get off to a fast start here. Not as crucial for a fast start in the 1,000 meters as it is in the 500, but you need to get it going, build up your speed, and then relax.
And as they come around that first turn, the splits are separated this time in 200 meter, at 600 meter, and then the final time at 1,000 meter. And these ladies come across the 200 meter at 19.33 for Zole, 19.49 for Tonoike. How is that going to compare in the overall?
These girls are going to be about a half second slower than the top girls after 200 meters. Vola in day 1, 12th place in this race. She's not going to be one of the medal contenders. Tonoike did not skate this race in day 1.
As they come around the turn, coming around with 1 to go, you can see Tonoike with 1 arm on her back, conserving energy.
Very much conserving energy. In fact, I'm very surprised to see Sandra Zvola swinging 2 arms at this point. It's very tiring to swing 2 arms. It wastes a lot of energy. Normally, you'll see most of the skaters with one arm on their back for just about the entire race after the first 200 meters.
And at this part of the race, the legs get tired, the eyes get blurry, you try to sit, maintain that speed skating composure that's going to propel you to a fast time.
Just about on par with yesterday's time.
And as they come around the final turn, it's Zvole on the inner lane, Tonoike on the outer, and Zvole with a time of 122.80, Tonoike 123.19.
Solid times, Andy. All that's going to do is give the top skaters something to look at, something to gauge themselves upon.
Anke Bayer from Germany, currently 10th overall. And Sabina Volker, also from Germany, 11th overall. We're seeing another 2 German pair, friends, foes, very, very crafty veterans out there.
And Sabina Volker, second place, a silver medal in day one in this event. She should be going for another medal today.
So she is definitely somebody to beat. The time she puts up should be something for the top skaters, American Chris Whitty and Becky Sundstrom, to look to in order to beat to get a medal.
And they will have a slight advantage skating behind her. They'll see the time she posts, and they'll go after that.
And these ladies will have to go under 19 seconds in the 200 meter to have a shot at being on the medal podium. And they are strong and fast. Usually they're able to do that.
Sabina Volker, very fast starter in both the 500 and 1,000 meters. She's on pace again here today.
And as they cross the 200 meter, Beyer on the inside lane at 18.75. Volker on the outside, 18.76, almost exact. The skater starting on the outside lane will finish on the outside lane. The skater starting on the inside lane will finish on the inside lane. The only race in speed skating to do that.
That's exactly right. For the women, I think they tend to prefer to start and finish on the inner lane because they get to chase their pair down the final backstretch. It's a big help when you're tiring.
And as we see Volker and Beyer coming out of the turn after 600, Volker at 48.59, the fastest 600 we've seen today. Looks like she's holding on from form from yesterday.
She looks very good. Sabina Volker, one of the only women actually, if you look at her, skates a little bit like Bonnie Blair used to skate. Not as fast, but technically very similar.
And anybody who can skate like Bonnie Blair should be doing well. And as they come into the final turn, Volker with a commanding lead over Beyer. She is starting to tire and straying away from those blocks. As she comes down the final 20 meters, she crosses the line at a time of 1:20.78. Dan, a great time.
Very good time for today. That should keep her in the medals. She's got a lot of pairs to follow that are going to try to beat that time. Again, the women seem to be skating nearly a half second slower than day one's 1,000 meters. But that seems to be a pattern, so we'll see if it follows.
And in the final race, this by far the pair of the day. Hometown hero Chris Whitty from the United States, currently number 2 in this distance in the world, against Franziska Schenk, someone who's been dominating the 1,000 meter all year from Germany, the number 1 skater in the world in the 1,000 meter.
I look for Chris Whitty to be able to win this race today. She's got a time to beat right now of 1:20.7. Day one's 1,000, Chris skated 1:20.1. She should be able to win again today.
Whitty, an extremely powerful, strong skater. Not incredibly quick off the line, but as that race goes, she builds and builds and almost seems to get stronger.
She does. You're going to see Chris skate just under 19 seconds in the first 200 meters, probably be behind Schenk at 200, but most likely will catch her and pass her.
And she will have the advantage of chasing her down that first backstretch. Hopefully that can help propel Whitty to where she wants to be. And we have a good start, Dan.
It's a solid start. Now you're going to see Schenk's got a lot more leg speed than Chris Whitty, and very difficult to open up on the first outer lane here, for the women especially, with only a 50 meters build up into the turn.
Chris, coming off a sickness from the U.S. Championship, seems to be getting stronger as the weekends go by. As they come across the 200 meters, 18.58 for Schenk, 18.84 for Whitty. A good 200 for Chris.
A very good 200. Now she's going to use Schenk here on the backstretch. She's got her in her sights. She knows her last lap is stronger. If she can have a solid turn here, she believes she's going to win this race.
And this is the part of the race where she can chase Schenk, and Schenk knows that Whitty's right there and behind her. Any mistakes, and Schenk knows that Whitty's going to get her.
And a very solid turn. Good acceleration out of there. Now you're going to see Chris Whitty pull away from Franziska Schenk in the final 400 meters.
And you can see Whitty has caught her at the 600 time of 48.36, our fastest time of the day at 600 meters, 48.49 for Schenk. Whitty's on a good one.
And with Chris Whitty being in first place after 600 meters, nobody's going to pass her in the last lap.
She is so strong at this point of the race, Dan. How does somebody become this powerful?
Chris is a very strong skater. She's a very good cyclist as well. Really helps her summer training for speed skating. Here you can see her powering down the last 50 meters. She's tired, but she's holding on.
And Chris crossed the line at 1:20.42. Good enough for first place.
Another gold medal for Chris Whitty in the 1,000 meters. Very satisfying. Very good race. Slightly slower than day one, but that's been the tendency today. She should be very pleased.
And a time of 1:20.80 from Schenk. A very good race. But Whitty is starting to creep up on Schenk every day, every time they skate, saying, hey, I'm here too.
Well, Chris Whitty's been a little ill the past 3 weeks. She's really starting to feel better now, feel stronger, get healthy. Really looking forward to the World Sprint Championships in 3 weeks.
You can see the pain on Schenk's face right there, knowing that Chris Whitty is somebody to beat. The 1,000-meter ladies final. Chris Whitty right here from West Allis with the gold medal of a time of 1:20.42. In second place, Sabine Volker from Germany, a time of 1:20.78. And in third place, Franziska Schenk, also from Germany, a time of 1:20.80. Glen Ellen's Rebecca Sundstrom, seventh place, a time of 1:21.69. Chris Whitty, what a performance.
And Chris is really coming on strong in the second half of the season here, and a great boost of confidence leading into the World Championships.
And to start the men's 1,000 meter here in day 2, Jan Boss from Holland, currently 11th overall in the World Cup, paired against Sergei Klevchenya from Russia.
This should be a great pair, Andy. Jan Boss, a surprising silver medalist in day 1's 1,000 meters. Sergei Klevchenya, the current world sprint champion, and a very strong 1,000 meter skater.
And Jan Boss, coached by your former coach, Peter Mueller, a 1976 gold medalist himself at this distance. Should be helping Boss.
He should help Boss. I think he's helped all the Dutch skaters with their technique. They tend to be stronger in the 1,000 than the 500. We'll see if Boss can repeat yesterday's performance.
And Klevchenya, a skater who thinks he should be on the podium after every time he skates.
He really does, and he should think that. He's got the capability to do that in both races, the 500 and 1,000 meters. He's a solid all-around sprinter.
I would think you would need that attitude to get on the podium.
You have to be positive, you have to think positive, you have to be confident in yourself.
And as they come around 200, Klevchenya 16.96, very fast. Boss a 17.34, a little bit slower than maybe he'd like.
But not surprising, he's not a fast opener. Klevchenya, he's right on pace. We'll see what he's got. He's going to get a nice draft on the backstretch here. He's very relaxed, just sitting in, catching a draft. Now he's going to get a good whip off this inner turn.
And the Dutch skaters known mostly for their longer distance skating, where it is a classic tradition in Holland. Klevchenya comes across the line 44.35, 44.94 for Boss. Not extremely fast, but these are two very strong skaters at the end of a race.
In the last lap, and in day 1's 500 meters, Boss beat Klevchenya. Very unusual. I think Klevchenya wants a little revenge today.
And as you can see in the better skaters, although they tire, they don't seem to lose their composure or their technique as the race nears the finish.
Very much holding his technique together well. He's finishing strong. He should be in the lead after this race.
And as Klevchenya avenges the loss yesterday of Boss, comes across a time of 1:13.24. An excellent time, Dan, at Boss, 1:13.83. Another outstanding race for Boss.
A good race for Boss. Very nice to see Klevchenya in first place at this time, now really giving Casey Fitzrandolph and Manabu Hori something to shoot for.
Klevchenya showing us he's a veteran, showing us he's a champion, setting the stage, coming back from yesterday's performance with another very strong race.
Always a fun race to watch.
But a good sign for Madison's Casey Fitzrandolph. He knows that he has definitely got a shot to win this race.
Fitz has got a great chance to win this race, skating 1:13.3 in day 1's 1,000 meters. Today, the time to beat, 1:13.2. If he can improve by 1/10 of a second, he can win the race. However, his biggest competitor, his own pair, Manabu Hori.
And as Casey Fitzrandolph, currently number 2 in the world in this race, paired with Manabu Hori, number 1 in this race, Casey's got him in his sights right from the start. Is that an advantage for Casey?
It can be an advantage. I think Casey starting on the inner is going to help here today. He could win the pair. If he does, he should win a gold medal. He's got to open up here somewhere around 17 flat, or it's not going to be enough.
And we've got a really good start, and you can hear this crowd is going crazy. Casey Fitzrandolph proving to be one of the best sprinters in the world as they come across the 200-meter mark. Casey Fitzrandolph, 17.06. Hori at 16.94. Good opener for both of these skaters.
A good opener, and you see Casey set up that turn real nice, skating a very nice technical turn. Look at him relaxing on the backstretch. Hori's got him in his sights right now. He's drafting, but Casey's got the last inner. We'll see what happens here. Casey's got to accelerate out of this turn and use Hori on the last lap.
Hori has a slight lead crossing the 600 meter at 43.83. A great time at the 600. Casey Fitzrandolph, 44.05, fast. Casey's got a good last lap. Now he's got to chase him.
He's got to chase him. I think Casey was a little surprised that Hori came on a little stronger at 600. Casey looks like he's trying to throw in a little too many strokes here. He needs to lengthen it out, not try to run this last lap.
And Casey Fitz-Randolph coming up on the inside lane. He has closed the gap on Horry as they cross the finish line. It is Horry at a time of 1:12.76. Casey Fitz-Randolph at a time of 1:12.93. Under 1:13, Dan. Phenomenal skating.
Incredible skating for both these skaters. I'm very impressed with Horry to hold off Fitz like that. With Fitz having the last inner turn, I would have thought Fitz might have edged him out. Horry skated a very good race, skated his own race, didn't worry too much about where Fitz was, really skated his own race, concentrated, and held him off on the last lap.
And you can see the smile on Casey Fitz-Randolph's face. Maybe disappointed that he didn't win the race, but he's got to be happy with a time of that stature at this competition.
Anytime, as you said, under 1:13, incredible race. Here in Milwaukee, very good. I never skated under 1:13 in Milwaukee.
Again, a phenomenal performance by Madison's Casey Fitz-Randolph. The hometown crowd is loving every minute of this. We'll be right back with the men's 1,000-meter results and the award presentations. Welcome back, everybody, to the 1997 World Cup Sprint Speed Skating Championships at the Pettit National Ice Center in Milwaukee. We just concluded the men's 1,000 meters with some exciting results. Winning the race from Japan in a track record time of 1:12.76, Manabu Horry. In second place, Madison's Casey Fitz-Randolph with a time of 1:12.93. A fantastic finish for Casey. And rounding out the medals from Russia, Sergei Klevchenya at a time of 1:13.24. And coming to the podium now, the women's 1,000-meter medalist. An exciting day for West Allis's Chris Whitty.
A great day for Chris Whitty, repeating day one's performance in the 1,000 meters.
And what a race she had, taking the gold medal at a time of 1:20.42, establishing herself as a gold medal favorite for the Olympic Games.
I think that's a very good point, Andy. She's won the 1,000 meters last year. She's the current world sprint champion. She's got to have a great second half of this year, but again, coming off an illness and really establishing herself as one of the favorites leading into next year's game.
Silver medalist in this race from Germany, Sabine Volker, a time of 1:20.78. And in third place, also from Germany, Franziska Schenk, a time of 1:20.80. In the beginning of the season, Schenk seemed almost unbeatable in the 1,000 meter, but Whitty has proved her wrong.
Well, Whitty's come on very strong in the second half of the season. I think the Germans should be very satisfied. Two women up on the medal podium. They're skating very strong also.
Some incredible racing by skaters from all over the world. Chris Whitty, what can you say about her?
Well, for Chris to come off an illness just a few short weeks ago, to come back home and win 3 medals out of the 4 distances she skated, got to be very satisfied.
Coming off a good weekend here, I think I'm feeling pretty confident going into World Sprint Championships.
And Casey Fitz-Randolph from Madison, Wisconsin, under 1:13 in the 1,000 meter, medals in both races.
Casey, he gets more and more exciting with every race he skates. He's getting stronger. He will be a favorite for a medal next year.
Next year, hopefully, I'll be up on the highest podium, not just the podium, but we'll see.
And that concludes our coverage from the 1997 World Cup Sprint Speed Skating Championships from the Pettit National Ice Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. For Dan Jansen, I'm Andy Gable.